Mornings with the Queen Bee. There will be days like this. Say it will. Oh, yeah. Say it will be. Ooh, what a day, what a day, what a day. Mornings with the Queen Bee. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Mornings with the Queen Bee. There'll be days like this, my mama says. Yeah. Mornings with the Queen Bee. Ooh, yeah. There'll be days like this. There'll be days like this. Oh, there'll be mornings. Mornings with the Queen Bee. Ooh, yeah.
Hey everybody, it's me, the Queen Bee, Evangelist Angie B. I'm buzzing in the beehive, and I know it's not morning for some of us. For others, it's early in the morning, but we could not allow tonight's topic to go another minute longer. People all across the country have been affected, and they have comments and they have questions, and that's why we are here with mornings with the Queen Bee. And so we have illustrious panel that will be joining us in just a few minutes. But before we get started, I just want to offer a prayer of forgiveness, understanding, compassion, and the love of the Lord. I think if we could continue to love one another like we would want Christ to love us, then a lot of what we're going to be discussing today would be a mute topic. So Father, we come before you and we just offer our lives to be of service to you. We know that the pitfalls that we go through make us stronger because they help us to recognize that you are with us. Lord, we know that any functions that may be going on in our bodies, any problems that there may be with technology. It's just the way that the devil is trying to find and seek and destroy. And we rebuke all of that. Father, we ask that there be something that is said tonight that will touch another's heart and reveal to them that you are the one and only God. We love you, Lord. We ask that you be with us on this day moving forward in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. Okay, everybody, welcome to Mornings with the Queen Bee. I am Evangelist Angie B. And sliding in here for a hot minute is my hubby Barty. Y'all say hello to
Hey,
Barty.
Marty.
Hey,
Hello, lady.
Barty. Hey.
Hello, hello.
Barty is very instrumental in me being an ambassador for alopecia. We joke about how on our very first date, I was resistant. I didn't want to be bothered with him, and I figured he didn't really want to be bothered with me. So I said to him, I need you to know that this wig comes off. I need you to know these eyelashes come off. I need you to know this girdle. Well, anyway, he ain't no need all that. But the significance was I thought I would scare him away because under the wig, I was just as bald, if not balder than he was. Now, a bald man is sexy, but a bald woman, I was still trying to figure that out. And I took off my wig and he looked at me and he said,
You look like a China baby. Well, what you did, I'm sure many of you who we talked with before know that story.
yeah.
But the reason my wife has me on with you all tonight is when that conversation. Well, when the event started on TV, we were watching it in Orlando in the hotel. Now, my interpretation.
We had a difference of interpretations.
A difference of interpretation and
yes.
opinions.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now, before I leave you, ladies, for your conversations to continue, my interpretation was, for one, I don't think Will should have went up and smacked the gentleman. And the other reason was, I didn't know at the time. I don't know if you all ladies know, because I don't really keep up with a lot of stuff between, the actors and their type of whoever they hang out with. I don't get into that. So
you didn't know?
No, I was told later that Chris Rock had cracked on his wife 2 other times. Not because she has alopecia or anything like that. I guess he cracked on her 2 other different times. And all I seen was the incident when he made that statement about G.I. Jane.
I think Will had enough.
Well, right. And I actually don't really think it had anything to do with alopecia. I really don't. I think emotionally, like he said, all those 3, it was 3 strikes then. So I think that's what happened. But it seemed like everybody else, this is just my opinion, wants to blow it up now to that. I really don't think that's what Chris Rock, was indicating and talking about. But it seems like it's going that way. And so, it's just out there now. But nobody knows the difference or how it is like you ladies. Y'all know, y'all been through that. But it was just my opinion, that I wouldn't have smacked him then.
He might have smacked him later.
No, I would have to talk to him like a man once it was over. And I would have told him that's strike 3.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have did that the way he did that. Because, again, I didn't think he was cracking on the alopecia part at all. It was just, strike 3, I guess, from Will talking about his wife. Okay, ladies. Thank you for listening to me. That was just my opinion, You know what they say about opinion.
Bye-bye. Wrong opinion. Bye-bye.
Hold up now.
No. That's our moderator.
I got friends.
It was absolutely alopecia.
That's our moderator, Loretha Simon, and she gonna
I'm going then.
She gonna cut her brother off. Welcome to Mornings with the Queen Bee, everybody. Loretha is our illustrious timekeeper and our moderator. There is Tam sitting in her studio with her baby grand piano. Over there in Orlando, Florida, there's Jordan in Eatonville, Florida. And Dr. Barb, what city are you in Texas?
I'm in Fort Worth. We call it Funky Town, Texas. Right there. I'm in Funky Town.
I appreciate each of you ladies being here because I don't know about y'all, but I was a little triggered. I was just a bit... I saw the look on her face and I was like, baby. Oh, baby. It just, I don't know, Jordan, why don't you start? What you got to say?
Well, just from that scenario, I saw all of her emotions, and it was all over her face and she literally shrunk in her seat. You know what I'm saying? And it was almost like the wind was taken out of her sail.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was the whole entire body language. And if she could have gone into the ground, she would have very easily been on the ground at that moment. So I think that it was every emotion that I'm gonna say that I have felt before in my life. Granted, it has not been on that grand stage of national TV for the world to see it. But for me, my world saw it at that moment. So I could definitely resonate with what I think she was feeling at that moment. So I'm glad that we're here to talk about it, and I think what we saw was the absolute truth.
I tell you, it was a frustrating thing because I could see that, for everybody it was funny initially, but then it was like, oh, wait a minute. And once it sunk in, and I wanted to sink in initially, not after the fact. Tam, what you thinking?
Oh man, so I did not see the award show. I actually heard about it. I'm in this prayer group, so 6:15 we're in the morning, we're praying, and then we have a little discussion afterwards. And they started talking about that, and I was like, "What happened?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, let me go find me somebody to slap." You know what I mean? Because I got alopecia too. Like, are we really talking about this? Praise the Lord! Like, I was truly annoyed because I didn't see. And I guess that's, for so many years, I guess, different layers of tough skin built up. Like, I didn't see how a comedian cracking jokes, right. Was warranted a slap because he was cracking jokes on your wife. It's like, is that what you guys are doing? You know what I mean? So I was truly annoyed. I felt like, you know what? So what? You know what I mean? You, for one, like, I'm dark skinned when we're talking about colorism, right? I'm dark skinned, I'm chubby, you know what I mean? I have braces. Like, you are beautiful, you're rich, you got a successful man. Like, so what? Your dress was, from what I'm seeing, her dress was bad. Like,
banging.
Why are you still that, self-confident? Like, I really didn't get it, but as I thought about it later on, I realized, you know what? Even stars, you know what I mean? We think about successful people who have committed suicide. You have everything in the world and you're still unhappy in some aspect of the way. And this was exactly what it was. Now, for me, that's my opinion on Jada. Once more, going back to Will, you can't go around slapping people. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you slap them with money. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And I really believe, and I made some comments about it. I made a post, that this brother is on the verge of a nervous breakdown. He felt like he probably has something to prove about his wife and all of their little extraness that's taken place in the past couple of years, and he must really think he's above the law. Let me go out there and slap me somebody because someone's talking about my bald head. I mean,
wow.
My mom had alopecia. My grandma had alopecia.
Yep.
My aunt who's still living. I'm like, Auntie, have you ever slapped someone? My husband is a pastor for 30-something.
I have.
Dr. Barb, I need you to chime on in because we're not going to talk about that incident all night. But I know you got some thoughts and feelings about that, Dr. Barb. So
I've been bald for since I was 3.
Right.
And I grew up in a heavily chaotic, abusive environment, which I believe through my research and studies is what allowed me to come to this state with having alopecia most of my life. I'm turning 54 this year, y'all. So I've had alopecia for 51 years when they weren't diagnosing, when they weren't making wigs for little girls. I was wearing huge wigs because mom was trying to make me fit in. But I was constantly tormented and picked on to the point where I had to slap the out of folk. Grabbing my wig, grabbing my headscarf, because there are bullies in the world. And I point blank felt that I believed that he knew that she had alopecia and thought it would be a good joke, or whoever created the jokes, however that happened. Because as Angie was saying, she sunk.
Yes, she was humiliated.
It was almost like she had been kicked in the gut. And I can say from a reaction as a therapist, he was reactive because he saw his wife wounded. He didn't even have this time to stop and think that this ain't right. That's my opinion. Now, should he slap the man? As a therapist, no, violence is not okay. But the little hood girl, that grew up with all that, all my life,
I had to fight. There you go. Ladies,
so
I appreciate
others' opinions, but yes, ma'am.
I appreciate you. I appreciate it because you guys just summed up everything that I've been reading all day on posts and messages and everything else. And so we're going to we're really just going to leave that there. And in our next segment, we want to talk more about life with alopecia. A life with alopecia. I know it's a journey, and Jordan says this so eloquently. It's a journey for all of us. Some of us are just now coming out. Some of us are still wearing the hair hats. Some of us are still trying to figure it out. But we've got comments and questions. And but first, we're gonna let Loretha take us into our first official segment. Loretha, would you please take it away?
Hello, everyone. I'm Loretha, and this is our message from our sponsor. Our sponsor this evening is the Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Beauty Bazaar. That event takes place here in Daytona Beach in September. It's September 15th through the 18th, 2022. It is a wonderful weekend retreat, and it concerns our health. It's a beauty bazaar embedded in a weekend retreat. And as you know, Daytona Beach is the world's most famous beach. So why don't you all go to our website? It's www.boldbeautifulandbaldbeautybazaar.com. All right? And we'll see you during our next commercial break.
Love it. I love it.
That's such a good job. Such a good job. Such a good job.
Nice.
I appreciate it. Because we got to interject some life and some love into this very dark, deep topic. You know, we don't hear jokes of, well, not really. We don't hear jokes about people that have disabilities. I know we have the former president that, but you know, normally we don't have that. We don't joke about people with diabetes and taking insulin. We just, why was it so easy? We have a comment from a viewer. I think Terry Jones is in Jacksonville, Florida, and she says she grew up fighting too.
I hear you.
I guess all her life she had to fight. I did an interview today with the Daytona Times newspaper, and it troubled me because I didn't want it to be just another soundbite. What do you think about the slap heard around the world? So I started the interview by saying, listen, you can hear about my journey and my life, but I need you to know what I did with it. And so this year we're having the 6th annual Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Beauty Bazaar weekend retreat. We're not just wallowing in it. Jordan has the Central Florida Alopecia Support Group.
Right.
Dr. Barb is over there in Texas having fashion shows and looking. And Tam is still fighting for legislation to get the insurance company to pay for our wigs.
Exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
We're not just wallowing in it. So Jordan, can you start us off and kind of tell us a little bit about how you are living with alopecia?
Well, every day it's a journey. It's a journey. I could take you back as far as at least probably 40 years if I start doing some real math, or probably further back than that. But it wasn't until probably a couple years ago when I started to step into my truth and start owning it. I shave. My hair has been shaved probably about 25, 30 years. But it wasn't until about 3 or 4 years ago that I really literally started owning it. A little bit like Jada. Yeah, the world thinks you have it all together, but underneath just really this tiny little bitty little something, underneath in your soul. But it was the day that I reached out to Facebook and said, is anybody else out here with this, alopecia or suffering? And it was a call to action. And as people started saying, yes, me sis, so I said, let's meet, let's get together. And then I began to rise. You understand what I'm
Mm.
saying? I mean, I have been working in corrections. I've been working in the school system, and I tell you the truth, when I left corrections, I had no idea what employment was I gonna go into next, because corrections kind of bought me, and
Right.
I shaved my hair all off while I was still employed, so they really didn't have a choice. But it
Right.
wasn't until I was phasing
Okay.
out of corrections when I said, "Oh my goodness, who's gonna hire me now?"
Right.
Mm.
You understand, like, how am I
Wow.
gonna go
Yeah,
to
we
this
do.
next interview and present
Mm-hmm.
myself as
We do.
a bald headed woman?
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
I
Mm-hmm.
tried a
wow.
wig. I tried a wig, and it lasted for probably 60 seconds or less. It scared the crap out of me. And I went into the wig store. I got a very tiny, tiny afro wig, the smallest thing, because I said, well, I could probably do this, afro wig, because, I was never fun. I never really had super long hair, but
Right.
it was
Right.
less than 60 seconds. I took it off, and the next thing you know, I mean, I'm bald. I went to work the next day, put on a baseball cap with holes in it, as if the people couldn't see the ball underneath through the
Right.
holes
Right.
of the
Right.
hat.
Right.
Now,
Right.
was I tripping or what? But I'm telling you, it was such a freedom, and I did begin to start to walk in it. But it wasn't until I discovered my ability to start speaking out on it,
Yeah.
and founded this Central Florida Alopecia group
Yes.
that
That's
has
where your
grown
power
me
was.
up
Yep.
and has strengthened me in my
Hallelujah.
Yes.
day-to-day walk. So
Yes.
yeah, I put it
Mm.
out there for others, but I can't lie. It was really for me. You understand
Yes,
what I'm
ma'am.
Of
saying?
course it
That
I,
was.
right
I
there.
needed help.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I needed help.
Right.
So I just reached out into the world. And so that's how I began to just kind of walk in my truth and live my true light. And everything from that day on, honestly, has been going up, up, up. I'm now an
Amen.
educator in the school system as well as a mental health therapist. And now
Amen.
I'm in my phase of my life of giving back.
Right.
I can
Amen.
give
I
back.
hear
I've
you.
turned the corner. You understand me? And I have you guys to thank. I have the Lord first and foremost to
Yes.
thank,
Yes.
Mm.
for just being ever present in my everyday walk of life.
Mm.
And
Awesome.
for that, I'm so very, very grateful. And to be able to talk the talk and walk the walk.
Walk
And
it.
walk the
That
walk.
is
There we go.
fantastic.
Thank you, Jordan. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am.
That is
She's such an
fantastic.
inspiration to me. Such an inspiration.
Really. Really.
Pam,
Beautiful.
give us
Beautiful.
an example of how you're walking and living with
Oh man.
alopecia. I want people that are still feeling like, oh, I got to put a scarf on. Oh, I got to put. I want them to see and hear what we're talking about, how we're able to live with this autoimmune disease.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. You know what? I am getting teary eyed because Jordan, that right there is the
Yeah.
whole
Mm-hmm.
gospel. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
it speaks volumes for many women. And you know what? I have Jordan and Angie to help think, right?
Yeah.
You ladies have been my pillar because I too, have been walking in this truth. And it was pretty much just wanting to be free and love myself wholeheartedly. You know what I mean? And I explain it as an evolution of self-actualization. And in doing so, I've been able to meet so many other individuals, you know what I mean, connect with people, help encourage them, help educate individuals. And that in itself has been a ministry. Like me, who, what, and it's very, very I'm learning to stop using the word "is weird." It's very weird. It's very amazing,
Yes.
how the Lord will
Freedom.
work in your life so that you can go ahead and connect with individuals and help bring them to a certain place, right? And so I don't want to mimic too much of what Jordan said, but it's truly been the same thing. And so by the grace of God, and walking in this journey, it led me to getting involved with the National Alopecia Areata Foundation and learning about the initiatives that they had with regards to the political aspect of different things. And, I am once more leaning back on my pillars, Angie and Jordan. We've had conversations with politicians on both sides of the aisle.
Right. Right.
And hey, you know what I mean? Not everyone is strong enough to walk in their truth at this present time. And just like those individuals that are suffering from cancer and they have that option of getting a nice little Versace prosthetic wig, right?
Yes.
Let's get the same option with those who are walking in alopecia. And let's
Right.
make it
Right.
so that their
Right.
Amen.
insurance are able to pay
Amen.
for it in a sense of durable medical equipment. And so it's something that we're finally getting some good traction on it. You know what I mean? And once more, we're talking about both sides, the Republicans and the Democrats that are starting to actually look at that. And now what I've seen in the past 3 years is that with your Ayanas and now look at this, another celebrity, Jada, you know what I mean? We're starting to get a little more spotlight on the matter.
Exactly.
So I am forecasting, I'm putting it out here that, you know what, we're going to start to get a little more traction when it comes to these type of bills and other different things that are needed for multiple alopecias. Because once more, alopecia doesn't discriminate. You know what I mean? There's blacks, there's whites, you know,
young and old.
There's men. Look at you, 3 years old, right? Children, and so forth. And so I am very excited that this actually took place, because once more, this is going to help push the needle on things that we need to have done in community.
Right. Absolutely.
It's amazing how things happen for a reason. I mean, that was a very large seed that was planted. And it is not going to go away. It's not going away. It's our responsibility to take it and keep it in the spotlight.
Yes,
ma'am.
Yes.
I agree.
And we will continue to have these conversations for the mothers trying to buy wigs for their 3-year-olds and the men that are trying to determine if they should date a woman with a bald head.
Right.
So Dr. Barb, tell us how you're able to live with alopecia now. You grew up into it. I wasn't diagnosed till my late 20s, but I don't even want to know what that was like for you as a child. Not yet. I want to know what that was. What's
in the
going
book
on now?
It's in the book. It's in the book.
I got
For me, growing up, it wasn't easy, and that's when I joke about the phrase from Color Purple. All my life, I had to fight.
Yeah,
that's my truth.
Yeah,
because kids were mean. Adults were. I try to tell myself not to say mean. They were abusive, emotionally. Yes. They were abusive physically. They would yank it. I started out with the headscarf. They would yank at the headscarf. Mom introduced me to wigs at 10, and that was a huge polar opposite of me. I would go in on the bus stop, take the wig off and stuff it in my backpack, have my headscarf under, because it was such a transition for me.
Right.
And I just recently spoke to my dad, because we never talked about it in my home. And even in my dissertation, I became set free because the Lord allowed me to go to college.
Yes.
And when I started going, the vision that he gave me, he said, you will be known because of the initials behind your name. I said, all right, Lord, I'm going to go be a teacher. I'm going to be a teacher. But I bought me a suction wig so the kids would put the wig on. I taught high school. And I'm like, Lord, if I got to fight these kids, at least let's keep the wig on, okay? He bought me I got a suction wig. But as I went through my research and journey, creating and understanding, my research was the first research that looked at the family system with a person that's diagnosed with alopecia. What's happening to the mothers and the fathers and the husbands and the wives that are married to us, but that are our parents, our aunts and uncles, my cousin fought with me to protect me. What's going on with them?
Yes.
We got to think about that process as well.
And you know what? Excuse me, Dr. Barr, but I really would like for you to ask your husband, has he given his opinion? Would he have knocked Chris Rock out?
Come on, Loretha. We ain't going back there. We ain't going.
But I'm gonna tell you something. I had an experience just a week or so ago, and we ran to a gentleman that went to church with us, and they never saw me without my wig because I was trapped with this head and wore wigs all the time. And one colleague told me, he said, you never go out without a wig. But when I did my research and my study and began to work with different individuals and their families with how they felt about having alopecia, that's what set me free.
Really?
So when I stood and did my defense and talked about the families, that was my first time publicly pulling off my wig.
Stop it.
Because when the Lord sets you free,
you are free indeed.
You are free indeed. So I told this gentleman that looked at my husband, he said, I would never recognize her walking up. I didn't know who she was. He turns around to my husband, he looks at me and says, so you married a bald woman. And my husband said, I don't think he was being offensive or anything like that. I said, what he said, so you married a woman that's paraplegic? So you married a woman that has cancer? So you married a woman that has sickle cell? So no one actually leads that conversation.
Right.
Because we look different.
Exactly.
My education set me free.
Free.
I didn't know what he meant, but he meant PhD. I'm going to send you through this journey, and you're going to find Barbara.
Hello.
You're going to find her.
Yes.
And I have been set free.
Set free.
I have been set free.
Set
I am
free.
no longer bound by this head.
No
longer bound.
Well,
no longer bound.
Well,
no longer bound.
We're going to allow our moderator to take us on another quick break. And when we come back, I want to talk about how we were able to come out to our family members. You know, what was that process like? How we were able to allow our children to not be bullied because of how we look. How have we been able to alter the lives of other people in our immediate family? And what has that felt like? So before we go on, Angie B and Barty Productions produced an alopecia audiobook when the pandemic first hit. Several women, several people, maybe 20 folks shared their story. And I just want to play this little video so you can hear a little bit about what was shared. Okay. No Bad Hair Days by Uniqua Leak. I am Uniqua Leak from Detroit, Michigan, and I have been living with alopecia for 23 years. I was 6 years old when round-like patches of my hair began to come out. At this time, I really did not understand what was happening, and this did not immediately have an effect on me. I still had a good length of hair. It was thick, curly, and my hairstylist was able to cover the bald spots with various different styles. Contact the author for your copy. Soundtrack produced by DJ Shaheem. Audiobook produced by Angie B Productions. I am so grateful for like I said, the nearly 20 women that shared their story openly.
Yes.
Their stories were narrated into an audiobook and published as a book form. Several of them said that the whole process was freeing. It opened them up. But a couple of people said that it allowed them to have conversations.
Right.
So I want to talk about a conversation that was very life altering for me. Now, growing up in the city of Detroit, I had a unique family. I had mother and father in the home, sisters, dog, fish, birds, gerbil. You know, we had a whole family. Everybody was there. And my sisters and I knew that my daddy liked a woman with some long hair. He wanted to caress it. He wanted to brush it. He wanted to stroke it. He would throw a fit if we talked about going to the hairdresser to get our hair cut. No, you ain't cutting that. That's your glut. No. So this was in me all my life. And then recognizing, going to the dermatologist and they did the biopsy and says, oh, your body is attacking your hair for whatever reason. And we don't have a cure for it. You either just gonna have to figure out how to deal with it, or how about we try these injections? And how about we do this these electric thing, put this wooden stick in your mouth, and how we do that. And so finally it was like, okay, this wig is stopping me from embracing my daddy. You know, when you got a wig on, can't nobody squeeze you too hard. They might pull it in the back. It might, you know, it's not you. And I knew my dad, if it got crooked, I knew he would straighten it, because that's how he is. But eventually he gonna say, when you gonna take that thing off? So long story short, I remember having to come to my father and say, Daddy, you know, I'm bald. They say I got something called alopecia, and my hair may grow, but it's going to grow in spots, and then my body's going to attack it. So the best way to keep the attacks down is to keep what's there shaved off, and I need you to know. And he was like, well, what you shaving with? And I'm like, what? Well, what you think I should shave with? Hey, baby, he could tell his wife, baby, go on in there in the bathroom in that drawer and get this tube of stuff and let's put something back here and make sure it don't burn her. And he taught me how to use something to clean my scalp. He never criticized. He never said, I know, Tam. It's like, oh my God. If I wasn't a daddy's girl, then I was. Now his wife, she better not go cut not one hair off her head. Because he like brushing and combing. She better not. He even got the number to the beauty shop when she say she going. He gonna call and say, okay, she coming. You better not cut off, not now, not this much, or I'm coming up there. Okay. But he embraced it. And even when I talked to him today, I said, Daddy, did you see the Oscars? Yeah, that man slapped the out of him. And I said, yes, he did. And my daddy said, people need to understand this is a disease. You can't be teasing people because of that disease. I said, hallelujah. Wow. That's how the process went. There was so much fear in me to have to go to my dad. I felt like I had done something wrong, like I was coming home with a failure mark on my report card, to be able to tell him that I have alopecia and that entire process. Jordan, what was it like when you had to tell a family member that you were dealing with hair loss? And did they accept it, or did they tell you, go put on? What was that like?
Well, it was, but believe it or not, it was not accepted. It was not received very well. And my mother has alopecia, which I did not know until way later. I had no idea growing up or any of that stuff. And it wasn't until we had one of our first meetings that I found out that my mother even had alopecia.
I remember that. We were there at the support group meeting.
At the support group meeting, I did not know. Because she always had hers, covered up, so I had no idea. And so I got kind of two sides to this thing. So, and I have a daughter. So my daughter, of course, had lived with me, and she had seen me go through this thing, going to the beautician, and all these like weaves and finger waves and all these things, because I always kept it, low on the top.
Yeah.
And she seen the struggle, as far as not being able to get to the beautician, and it was just a mess around the house. So over the years, I was sharing it with her, but the day that I actually shaved my head, my daughter freaked out, my parents freaked out. My dad actually called me, I want to say either David or Dennis.
What?
But no, this is a true story, because my nickname is Deanie. And so I wake up, I'm bald, my daughter's in the house with me. She called her grandparents, they basically, they came over and got her, and I walked downstairs, and they just weren't happy or pleased with the decision. So that's kind of how it was accepted or received, by my parents, initially, and my daughter. And my daughter probably went to stay the night at her grandparents. They all had to get through this thing. I'm like, listen, I got it from somewhere. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm telling my mom, listen. So I did it. So I'm going to get a biopsy tomorrow. So maybe it's something medically wrong. So I can't live like this. I got a kid, so if it's something that's hereditary, I need to figure it out.
I need to know. Yeah.
I need to know. So y'all go do whatever y'all going through, but I'm on a mission right now.
Right.
Because I'm the one that's going to the beautician at 2:00 in the morning, being ushered through the back door like I'm going to commit a robbery. With a towel on my head, and you understand me? All these things that I gotta go. I literally went to the beautician at 2:00 in the morning.
So nobody could see you coming and going.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? So that's kind of how it came into being. But but through the years or whatever, they began to come to an understanding. And
Wait, did you say through the years, Jordan?
I did. I did. It had just gotten better, but I got to be honest, because it's kind of two sides to the story. Because I'm also a member of the LGBTQ community. So they was doing. So I guess and my dad was a pastor. He's since passed away. So I guess they would had to go through their own thing. Then they started thinking, that I was doing it because of a lifestyle that I was choosing to live.
Right.
So it was difficult for them to separate the two.
Right.
You understand me?
Mhm.
So I as I, like you said, Dr. Bob, as I've educated myself,
Right.
so
Right.
I've come to an understanding,
Right.
of the position that they were in. I get it.
Right. Right.
I get it. So I just
Mhm.
kind of, you got to just work with what you got to work with.
That's right.
So that's kind of,
Mhm.
that's what it was. So no blame game or none of that. So
Right.
I understand the place that they may have been in at that time, but that was not my story, and they couldn't hear it.
Right.
You understand me?
Mhm.
They just
Right.
couldn't hear it. I remember
Right.
my dad had told me, there go David. I think it had to be David to keep coming to me, or
Mm-mm.
something like that. And I just say, well, I
Mm-mm.
felt better than I ever felt my whole life free. You
Right.
understand me?
Exactly.
Come
I'm sorry. You know what I'm
on.
saying? I'm sorry, dude. I
Yes.
love you. But
Mm.
it just kind of, it has gotten better. And then I later on learned that my mom, so which I could have did, God forgive me, I don't mean this literally like a Will Smith, but mama, you tripping. You sitting over here,
Right.
you feel me? You sitting over here butt naked. You understand me, underneath that thing, and you sat here and let me go through this whole thing with this
By
man,
myself.
like by
Exactly.
myself.
Yep.
So now I'm like,
Yeah.
somebody need to figure this thing out. I got a kid, I got grandkids, you know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna be
Yes.
sitting over here acting like ain't nothing going on with me, and I'm butt naked,
Mhm. Mhm.
underneath all this stuff that's going
Mhm.
on.
There
So
you go.
that's my
Mhm.
truth, ladies. Thank y'all for listening to me. It
I
is what it
love it.
is.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
You got some support though. You got it.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
it is what it is. I am who I am. And
Woo!
I
Man.
love me some me. All
Girl,
right.
we love you some you
Yes,
too.
All right.
We
Yes.
do, we do, we
That's my
do.
sister.
Oh, Tam, tell us about revealing
Um,
yourself to a family member, and how did that go, or is it
um,
still going?
it was something in itself. So, like I mentioned, my mom, my grandma, both who are deceased, but those ladies had it. And then my aunt who's living still, she has it. But for them, theirs didn't start to like their late 40s, early 50s. Mine started in my late 20s. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I had just got into this marriage, which was unhealthy in
Mhm.
itself. And I called myself, this is, gosh, back in 2012. Well, back in 2010 is when it really, getting into that marriage that was unhealthy. And so we would get into spats, and ball headed so and so would be thrown out there, you know what I mean? And,
Oh.
not wanting to
Mhm.
walk with me and so forth and so on. I was
Mhm.
just starting to make my way into corporate America. And, so that wasn't really a fun experience, and
Woo.
what do you have to say? And everybody's looking and you're just wanting to shrink, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and so with my mom, it was like, okay, well, let me show you how to use a bobby pin to hold down the wig, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Get you a cap kind of thing. Now you can go shopping with me and like really shop with me, not just take me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cute, right? It was one of those things.
Yeah.
My dad, he didn't care, as long as I was happy, he
Good.
didn't care at all. But yeah, so that was back then, and I tried to stay strong for about a year, and then I retreated into my hair hat. And then in 2019, I just, once more, just I can't do it anymore. I need to love me fully, and
Yes.
just totally learn to walk in it. My
Yeah.
son, biggest fan. That's
I
my
was
ace
just
right
about
there.
to ask you that. How did he take it?
Yes, that's my ace. I mean, and I would go to his school and so forth, and it wouldn't be like, that's your mom, yeah, kind of thing. No, it's like, that's your mom. She's really tall. I
Yeah.
can't like one of those. And those are cute shoes, Miss Tamara. I was like,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
But
love
in
it.
these days and times, for the most part, anything kind of goes, right? You just gotta look dope. You gotta, that's what they're saying, right? So, um, I back then, we're talking about a decade ago. There was no support, no love. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
Um,
Mm-mm.
from the relationship
Mm-mm.
that I was in, my mom once more, she was supportive and so forth. And my son just ever since the jump, he's just, I'm mom,
Mm.
and that in
Mm.
itself is
That's right.
validation for me.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Mm. Girl,
Mm.
I am so grateful for this opportunity tonight. It feels so much better than what we've been dealing with the past couple days.
Mm.
If the newspaper is going to call me for an interview, I want it to be because of something I'm doing in the community.
Yes.
Right.
Not because of what happened on the news.
On TV.
Come on now.
We contacted Jamie Elmore of Bald Life magazine to get her thoughts and opinions. And her response was, I want to do it, but I ain't slept in 48 hours. I'm tired of fielding interviews. I'm tired of returning messages. I'm tired.
Right.
And I think all of us, maybe not Loretha, well, Loretha tired because she got to work with me. I'm enough to make anybody tired. But I think we're all tired, and it all stemmed from the point where we had to tell somebody in our family
Yes.
that this is what was going on with us. So Dr. Barb, what was that like the first time you told somebody in your family? Or did somebody come to you? Because you were 3. So
right.
When was it really a situation where you were set apart from everybody else?
That's funny that you just made that last piece of that comment, that I felt like I was set apart.
Right.
I felt that way my entire life. I was 3.
Wow.
My family never talked about it. And in fact, I had a conversation with my dad this morning. He said, baby, we didn't know. I said, I know you didn't know, Daddy, but I felt like I was invisible because it was not talked about.
Wow.
In my research, I called it the elephant in the room.
Yes.
All the family knew I was bald, but we never talked about it.
Yeah.
So it made me shrink within myself and say, you don't belong. You look like Humpty Dumpty. Oh, look at that alien. He doesn't have any ear, no heart.
Girl, Humpty Dumpty wasn't that cute.
Well, all I saw was this bald head and clothes on him. That was me. And so what shifted in my family was when I took the wig off and that was the change when I started going bald in 2016. And them like trying to reel back and like, oh, okay, wait a minute. We were used to all these different wigs that you wear. My dad loves pictures of me. He will send pictures to everyone with all these cute wigs and all that kind of stuff. But he made a comment today. He said, that thing about Jada. He said, people was talking about it and I just sit there and listen, but I didn't know that too much to say. I said, Daddy, I am free.
Yes.
And it's okay to show people my bald pics.
Yes.
I'm free.
Yes.
I'm free. It's no longer a secret or elephant in the room. I'm free.
That's right.
Now my babies and my husband, I wore the wigs because I was bullied and teased so much I didn't want it to happen to my babies. I got grandchildren now. I would wear a wig to the school. My granddaughter is in high school. Like, Minnie, I don't care. But my babies, I don't wear wigs. I wear wigs because I don't want them to go through that process that I went through. Now we're out in the public, we're at the Walmart and everything, with babies are with me, but I don't do it for school. Right. Because I know how kids can be. Right. My transition was when I decided not to wear my wig because that's all they saw me wear. So seeing that bald head, my dad was like, oh my gosh. And he shaves his head, edge B, and he said, baby, what you cut your hair with? What you put on your head? I use this Jergen lotion. Warm your head up a little bit, rub that lotion on it for a little bit, go on and get a sharp razor. You don't need to buy all that stuff to take your hair out. Get that Jergens lotion. I said, all right, Daddy, I'm gonna try it. It works.
I tell you, that is so cute. That's so cute. It looks like that's Loretha's alarm telling us we're gonna take another quick break. And then as soon as we get back, we're going to try to read some of these comments. I got a couple of text messages. And then we want to talk about how do we want people to approach us? We know we've gotten some comments. Oh, what kind of chemotherapy are you? How do we want people to approach us? We always talk about what they're saying wrong. Let's give some suggestions as to what they can say that might be right. Okay.
How can I not like a bold, beautiful, and bald woman? By Bart T. That's me. After listening to some jazz music, I told Angela that she had some pretty lips. I asked her if I could kiss her. Her response was, well, I don't remember exactly what she said, but anyway, we kissed. Then she took off her wig and explained to me that she had alopecia, although I didn't know what that meant at the time.
Contact the author for your copy. Soundtrack produced by DJ Shaheem. Audiobook produced by Angie B. Productions. I am so excited again for any kind of input we have from other alopecians and those in our family. I want to give a shout out to Angeline, who's watching us from work tonight. She's my firstborn, and I don't think she really had to deal with my hair loss while she was in high school because I was still in a wig.
Right.
We have a comment from Lamont Brown, also known as DJ Snake in Orlando. And he brings me to a conversation that I had with people that knew you back in the day when you had some hair.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Lamont knew me back in the day. We worked at Epcot Center together. I had some hair. The biggest thing I had problems with was the humidity in Florida. You know, oh, come on, got to do something. But then you run into somebody that knew you then. And I'm not saying this was Lamont, but you run into somebody that knew you when you had hair. And now they look at you. And the first thing they want to say is, well, what happened to you?
Yeah.
What do we want people to say to us when they see us, if they have a question or Jordan, what?
Well, that's a tough one. I mean,
It is.
And it's funny you should say that because I have literally had to reintroduce myself. When I did shave my hair off and I was working in corrections and coming back home, I had to reintroduce myself to people and say, hey, I'm, who is that? No, I'm Dina. They're like, so how do I want to just say hi? I don't know. That's a tough one. Just talk to me. Just say hello. You don't have to call me anything. Just say hello. You look familiar.
Right.
You understand me? Like that'll work, and then let me take it from there. And then if I remember you, we remember one another, then we take it, then we just go from there.
You're right.
You just say hello like you would anyone else, that you think that you may or may not recognize. That's it for me.
All right, Tam. What you want folks to walk up, give you a high five, smack you on the back of your head? What you want?
Hey, I'm gonna do a Will Smith. They touched his head now. Now we talking something else there.
Lay hands on me. Start speaking in my heavenly language now. Go hey, you know what? It's all good because I literally am not the same person that I was when I was in my hair hat. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Everything's different. My whole mindset, the way I flow and groove, I don't even worry about correcting folks anymore on saying my name. I'm Tamara. No, I'm Tam. Let's just talk about let's try to get straight to the point. So anyone, if I'm meeting you and all over again, right, in a sense, hey Tam, and that's it, point blank, bottom line. Because if we live long enough and we're doing what we're supposed to do in life, we're supposed to evolve. And so we're not supposed to remain the same. Psychologically, we're supposed to keep moving on to different plateaus in life. So for anyone that knew me back when I wore hair hats, hey.
Dr. Barb, I know that your situation is different. How did your parents deal with comments or questions? Do you remember what that was like for them?
I know for my mom, that was the reason for the transition from the headscarf to the wig, because she wanted me to look normal, even though I looked abnormal because they didn't make children's wigs.
Right.
So I had this huge adult Jerry curl wig, y'all. I put my luster curl juice on and everything. She tried to transition and make me look normal. But it's still, Angie, it was not talked about in my home. Nobody really made any comments or anything like that growing up, or even into my adulthood. Like talking to my dad, he was saying it was uncomfortable for him because he didn't know if people would make a negative comment about me.
Right.
But I remember a time when I was a little girl and I had two little ponytails here. My mom plaited them put my little ribbons on the top and the little dangling down with my little barrettes. That's all the hair I had was here.
Right.
And I was going to take a picture, and I remember when, men and women staring at me. But in my family, it was just normal. This is before they introduced the headscarves. And I remember turning the corner, and I looked up, and I was like, well, why are all these people looking at me? The answer was, because you're beautiful, baby.
Right.
Beautiful.
Right answer.
Yes. Yes.
I didn't know I looked different until I started watching the children around me, or the teasing and bullying them. That's when I recognized I looked different. But answer the question, what do I want people to say to me? I love when people stare.
Right.
Yes.
I used to not make eye contact, but I definitely will make eye contact. Now I'll be like,
Now you
how you doing?
Yeah.
How you doing? Or they'll shoo the babies away and say, don't stare at them. I said, no.
Yes.
It's okay, because I look different.
Right.
I used to see about women.
Right.
It's okay. I have alopecia universalis. Let me teach you about this. So when you go out somewhere else and this baby see another woman or a man that looks like me or a child, they'll know, Mama, do they have alopecia? It's an educational moment for me.
Mm.
There you go.
That is beautiful.
It is.
That is beautiful.
No.
And we need that, because I'm with you. Little kids will look at me, and generally they're looking at me in awe. So, I'm a youth evangelist, so they're going to be drawn to me anyway. So it gives me a chance to smile and wave and blow kisses. But then when their parents look to see what they're looking at, you're right. It's like, oh, and I get you, Dr. Barb. You got. We have to educate everyone on what to do, how to react, and we need to educate with love. I appreciate some of the comments that we're getting. Angeline said that she would like for somebody to say, I noticed you changed your hair, and I love it.
I like that.
That's kind of cool.
Nice.
That's cool.
That is cool.
I like that.
And then Angela Cooper, our sweetheart over in Texas, she was with us in September as a model at the Beauty Bazaar. She said reintroduction even to family members.
Yes.
And I remember a conversation that some of us had where we knew going to the family reunion or the wedding or something, this was going to be the first time everybody done seen us. So we just bust up in there and say, hey, it's me, Queen B, Angie B. I'm such and such's cousin. I'm here with so-and-so. And now we're going to get back to the party and just get it out the way initially, I just resent the fact that we have to keep doing this.
Yeah. Yes.
That we really have to keep doing this.
But I'm sorry. You know what kind of irks me is why, right? As a woman, I had a wall full of wigs. I had the ponytail, the curls, the bob, the bangs. You know what I mean? Like, it looked like I was a hunter with different mounts of animals in my wall. That's what I had. Like, seriously.
That's it, darling. Oh my God.
I had to have a selection. And when I walk in there with a different wig on in the same week, come on. No one batted an eye. And so why does it matter now?
It shouldn't matter. That's the whole point.
I'm being true. I'm walking in my truth. You know what I mean? My hair is gone. My scalp is breathing. You know what I mean? It's healthy for not just for my mind. It's healthy for my body as well.
Yes.
Like, why do we need to vindicate ourselves?
Yes.
You're right.
Yes. And before Loretha tells us that we have to take another commercial break, I want y'all to know, we found freedom in taking off these wigs.
Yes.
But what else are we now slave to? I started feeling like, okay, I ain't got no hair, so I'm gonna get me some nails. I'm gonna do something girly. Once I fell in love with false eyelashes, I didn't want to step out. I want to try to put them on before I come out the bathroom. What else are we slave to that we may be trying to, use instead of? So we're going to let Loretha take us to our commercial break. Loretha.
Okay.
and then we're gonna talk about that when we get back, y'all, because
Thank you, everyone. Again, I'd like to give you a message from our sponsor. Our sponsor is the Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Beauty Bazaar, which is brought to you by Angie B and Barty Productions. It takes place here at the world's most famous beach, Daytona Beach, Florida. It's September 15th through 18th of this year. And I'd just like you to know that it's really a wonderful weekend retreat. If you choose to become a vendor at the actual beauty bazaar, then you will get a chance to network with all of the other participants. We have a lot of visitors. We have entertainment. The beautiful bald models. They have a fashion show. And I'm telling you, it's really a wonderful event. And if you're lucky enough to be a volunteer, then you'll get a beautiful certificate from Angie B and Barty Productions. So all you have to do is log on to www.boldbeautifulandbald.com.
There you go. That's my girl. There you go. There you go, Loretha. We also want to give kudos to our promotional sponsor, Triumphant Magazine. Last September, she published a special edition, September 2021. It featured Angela Cooper, and there's Jordan down there, celebrating Alopecia Awareness Month, one story at a time. And this was a beautiful magazine, y'all. I mean, it had, these are the ladies that are featured in the Alopecia audiobook that you guys have been listening to. And they came from Michigan, Ohio, Florida. They came from everywhere. We in this issue, we talked about different forms of alopecia.
Good. That's good.
And that's really what the Beauty Bazaar tries to do. Every model, when they come out, they you know, we introduce them, who they are, what they're doing, where they're located, and what form of alopecia they have.
They share their stories.
Everybody's excited about Jordan because she know how to rock a bow tie.
Right? I'm telling them. Yeah.
There you go. Awesome. There you go. But it feels so good to know that we have the support of Triumphant Magazine. And I mean, even Jordan's topic from fear to leadership. That's just, how do you, yes, girl. So shout out to Triumphant Magazine. Thank you for sponsoring us. Thank you for allowing us to have a platform. Alicia Harris talked about from anger to an awakening. You know, so you can still go on triumphantmagazine.com and order this special edition magazine. I think it sells for $10. I mean, just let me read this one little part to you that came from Angela Cooper. She talks about, mind you now, I'm strong in the ministry during this time of my life. And I knew there were going to be a lot of side conversations about my new look. Imagine this little bald-headed lady sitting up here preaching in the pulpit, singing on the worship team in the choir. And all I can imagine were the thoughts and concerns and conversations, the gossip
I gotta move
that would take place. It's just tragic. But we're going to continue to spread awareness. And this time, I want to talk briefly about what other physical problems that we may have because of alopecia. So, for example, I talked about how my dad taught me how to shave with some cream. Well, when menopause hit, I was like, I got this mustache. I got these hairs. Can I use the same cream up there, down there? That's a whole different. Why we got to figure that out? And Lord, I thought you said alopecia was what I had. So what is that? what
Hormones.
are the health problems? Because, just like in some men, they got the bumpy,
Right.
beard and stuff
Sensitive skin. Uh-huh.
with the ingrown hairs, and so our body
Mhm.
attacks the hair. So how does it do it?
Mhm.
It's painful.
Mm-hmm.
So Jordan, I know the sun is going down, and we're gonna lose you in a minute, honey.
Yeah. It's getting a little dark, but I may just have to change locations if so I might take my own station break and
Okay,
go.
that's fine. That's
Hey,
fine.
I love it.
and go to the light. You
That's
understand?
right.
Praise the Lord.
I love it.
Let there be light. Okay.
Amen.
But
The marvelous light.
yeah, but it's so beautiful here in Florida outside, and I
Yes, it
just
is. It
love the
really is.
outdoors. And when that sun can shine down on his head and
Yes.
everything is just
Yes.
right,
Yes.
I mean, life is so good and so free. And so I'm sorry. So yes, ma'am, Miss Angie B. What's the question before
Do
I
you
get
have any other physical complications because of the alopecia? We know the bumps and things that may come up. Are there any other ailments that you deal with because of this diagnosis?
I am really I'm not certain of that. It's none that I can truly pinpoint, but I'm wondering, I mean, my little wrist hurting. So here and there, a little arthritis. And I don't know
Yeah.
if that's age or if
Yeah.
that's something to do with the alopecia, because I have done a little bit of research, and I do think that there is some type of interconnection with this
Autoimmune.
autoimmune disease and some
Mhm.
form of maybe rheumatoid arthritis or something like that.
Mhm.
And this is something that is more recent that has been happening to me. So that's why I'm saying I can't really pinpoint it just yet and say it, but some things are happening over here, and I don't know if it's age or if it's alopecia or a combination. So Doc, help me out a little bit on your research.
Your point blank is spot, but you're spot on. Spot on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're spot on.
Wow.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Wow.
So there you have it. There you have it. Now I don't have the struggles that y'all have with being a slave to the eyebrows and being a slave to
Right.
my nails
Right.
and
The lipstick.
I don't have all that good stuff. I thank the Lord once again that in my own mind I am a natural beauty.
Amen.
Amen.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
All right.
Yes,
We're gonna
that's right, baby. Drink your own Kool-Aid. That's
yes, and it tastes good. Okay, we're gonna let Jordan transition to her commercial break, and we'll see her when she get back. Tam, have you had any other health issues that you've associated with the alopecia?
I'm in my 40s, and it's amazing that Jordan just mentioned that with the rheumatoid arthritis. About maybe 6 months ago, this wrist here, and I'm left-handed, but this wrist right here, I don't know if you can see it from the side. I got this little, but can you see that knot?
Yeah.
And it was huge. It was bigger, and I had to get one of those little, carpal tunnel wristbands and go up to places, and they're like, "What's wrong with you?" Kind of thing. And there you go, right?
Yeah.
And so that, I'm wondering if that's a contributing factor that's associated with, the autoimmune disease. And then recently, in the past month, I've been going through where my feet are just swollen and my ankles are just throbbing, and I'm like, and what's my sodium? I went and brought some compression socks. Went and brought some Epsom salt with ginger. I'm like, trying to figure this out. Maybe I'm sitting at my desk for too long, and so now I'm trying to get up and I'm flexing my feet. And I went and brought an entire new desk just this past Sunday, just so I can have just so I can have the space and make certain that I got the little thing underneath from Amazon. Like, who knows? At the end of the day, I'm just taking it one day at a time. I went and had my annual physical. So far still not a diabetic. You know what I mean? Not hypertension or anything like that. And those are things that do run in my family. Just one day at a time. We'll see at the end of it all, but. I don't know, that knot on my wrist. Y'all saw that, right? Y'all see that?
Yeah. And we're not trying to diagnose anybody. We're not trying to take the place of a medical professional. I did have a question that came up on my phone. How did you know you have alopecia? And first thing I did was I went to the doctor. and
dermatologist,
so that they could diagnose it. I did not want to assume that it was anything else. And the diagnosis itself can come in the form of a biopsy of the scalp, but I don't think they've really told us other health complications that could come about. We just still trying to deal with the fact that we ain't got no hair.
Right.
So I want to do a very special shout out to Christina Smith. Christina traveled with us while we were on tour last year, spreading alopecia awareness and doing book signings. And Christina's a jewel. She has shared this video, and I want to thank you, girl, because it still is a messy thing sometimes in our community. Sometimes we still tearing each other down.
Oh, absolutely.
Instead of lifting each other up or even trying to learn. And Christina would come in not only with a hunger and a desire to learn, but to then share what she was learning. So I appreciate that. Tam, I don't know if you saw the comment from Angela Cooper, our buddy in Texas. She said, Tam, I love you. I just love you. You keep it 100. That is definitely for sure. Always.
I love you too, Angela.
And we do appreciate everyone for sharing comments. Antonio King Ali today from the Oneness TV network shared our post and some information that he found, and he said he's always going to protect the queens, always.
Amen.
And so I do appreciate the protectors that we have. I truly do. I truly appreciate the protectors. And so I guess when we kind of glazed over the whole nails and the eyelashes and things, because I really wasn't ready to deal with this. But as a child, I got bright skin. So when I became a teenager, it was just like the joke of the family. Hey, Angie, don't you want to go put some lipstick on? You need a little rouge over there. You need a little something. Y'all can't relate to that. Y'all can't relate. I think I was 12 when my mother gave me my first makeup kit. Now I'm telling on my age, but Estee Lauder every year would come out with this big, beautiful Christmas makeup kit. And it was a thing to get under the Christmas tree. Well, my mama would get the new one, and then I would get hers from last year. Right. So I loved playing in some makeup. I loved it. I could have fingernail polish as long as I didn't spill nothing on the carpet, all that. But it was understood in my family that I was going to have to get a toothbrush and brush down them bushy eyebrows, put on a little rouge and a little blush. So then when I started losing my hair, that almost stepped it up a notch, And even tonight when I was getting ready, Dr. Barb would tell you, Dr. Barb was like, what's the link to log on? I'm like, Dr. Barb, I got to put some lipstick on. Then I'll send you the link, And it's still, in my granddaddy gonna tell me. So is there? Can anybody else relate? You gotta do something.
I think for me, I can recall in not too long ago, I told my husband that I would put the wig on, put all the makeup on, put the jewelry on, bring a smile, and then perhaps people wouldn't question about the wig.
Yeah.
So I felt like it was a complete costume. So they didn't really get to see. And I would look at my husband and go, but they don't really see me.
That part.
And he would go,
girl,
but I see you. I see you. So when I came out bald, I was super excited. He said, baby, I've been looking at you for the last 30 years.
Hello.
Absolutely beautiful. But wearing the nails and things like that, for me, I started doing it at about 16, 17, because my nails were always brittle. I hadn't had the diagnosis yet. And so I would get in trouble. My mom and this young girl, you biting your nails? My dad, you biting your nails? I'm not biting my nails. Okay, now you're lying to me. So I'd have to give my whoopings and get punished because I was lying. When I found out.
Okay.
I had alopecia.
Hello.
I told my daddy and my mama, y'all beat me, put me on punishment.
for no reason.
For nothing. I wasn't lying.
That's right.
And of course they're apologizing. Oh, baby, we didn't know. We didn't know. I understand. But if you would have knew, I wasn't lying. So I get my nails done today because it's still the same. I have the furthest end of alopecia universalis. So I have no body hair. I don't, my nails, they don't grow very well. And we know that's one of the symptoms with some people. They may have dimpled nails, or they may not have any nail beds. Or eyelashes. My eyelashes are just barely starting to grow, but I love me some falsies.
Yeah.
I don't have any eyebrows, so I have a little tattoo thing, and I darken them things up to make them look halfway
they
decent.
look good, girl.
Make them look halfway decent,
They look really nice. They do.
But I do this mostly because I know my nails are brittle and they just don't ever grow. And so I get my nails done so I can look professional in the professional world and don't look like I'm a nail biter. I don't wear makeup all the time. A lot of times I was sitting in the office when I very started doing therapy. And the thought came to me. I was sitting, I was like, I forgot to wear my wig.
Oh, wow.
Then the second thought was, girl, no. You free.
Yeah.
But that thought that I had from my past childhood.
Right.
Don't forget your wig.
Don't forget it. Don't forget.
So for me, I don't feel like I'm in character anymore because, like I've said over and over and over, I'm free. I'm no longer a slave to this head.
That's good. That's good. Tam, what about you? What you dealing with?
We know she got the wigs that she had hanging on there.
Yeah. I know somebody with a whole trunk full of wigs. I'd be like, hey,
now it's crazy or amazing that for the mannequin heads that used to have hair on them, wigs on them. I got hats. I got all kind of hats. I keep me some cute hats, right? And so that's become part of my whole DNA with regards to being out here and walking in it. Because one, I got to keep my. It's just like making sure you have sunscreen on. If it's cold, or if it's too sunny, and then of course, I got to color coordinate. So it's whatever color, whatever the season, the type of attire, and so forth. I do the nails. It's more so for my own little psychological happiness. It's like, look, you could do something extra for yourself. Just make it a normal type of thing, Right. And so that's become my norm. So I've noticed over the past 2 years, my eyebrows they're getting out.
Yeah.
And so it's like, even if I don't have on makeup, I gotta put that pencil on them.
Yeah.
I noticed that during different times of the season that they'll fall out, and so that's something in itself that I'm still trying to figure out, because I've also noticed times when I'm super stressed. Not only is just to eating extra, but her eyebrows are falling out extra. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those are different things that I'm trying to get a pinpoint down a little more with regards to the who, what, and how, what triggers that.
Right.
But overall, it's just one day at a time, and that's what I love about this. When I say it's a journey, it's a journey. I don't know from one day to the next how and what, and it's a beautiful thing in itself, because you encounter so many different individuals, and it's amazing. It's a ministry in itself. If you're not walking in it and your journey and your truth, it's all good. You'll get there. Keep loving on yourself and keep talking to God. You're gonna get there. And you know what? All of us, we're gonna be here waiting for you too, to love on you with that.
And Tam, I also want to add to that don't feel badly if your journey does not have you where we are.
Right. Yes.
I remember when my journey was just to take my wig off around my children.
Right.
Whatever your journey is, Tam's right. We're here with you and for you. Don't feel like you alone. The National Alopecia Areata Foundation at naaf.org talks about how many million people deal with one form or another.
Right.
And we don't want to be, I love the fact that Angeline is saying, can we talk about how sad it is that we think nails are professional? Why do we think that anything we have to buy and add to ourselves is professional? I get it, Angeline. I get it. How come we just can't be us without why are there questions and comments when we walk up in the church with
Yeah.
That right there.
I don't know. I don't know.
That right there.
And again, why can't we be our natural beauty? Why can't our natural beauty be professional? I appreciate that, Angela, and I do.
Yes.
I've talked to too many women who don't go jogging because they don't want to sweat under their wig. They won't go work out because they don't want to sweat. They
or they'll get in the swimming pool with their wig on.
There you go.
I did it. Yeah.
I was a slave to it.
Yeah.
You know, especially that sewing. Come on now, I need this to last.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So again, I guess going back to the top of the conversation, we feel for Jada. We feel for Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, who was dealing with the stress of impeaching a president while the last of her hair was coming out. I appreciate my mother, who came to me and said, baby, I just got my diagnosis back, my biopsy. I also have alopecia. We're going to have to figure this out together.
Nice.
I appreciate other women in our community, like Donna Gray Banks of the Fresh Book Festival. Barbara, she's a local author and community leader here in Daytona Beach, Florida. And she came to Bartia and I and said, let me see, I think I had finally come out of my wig in 2015 where I could go out in public, you know. And in 2016, she came to us and she said, Angie B, you would not believe the number of women in this county alone that are dealing with some sort of hair loss. You need to have an event. And I'm like, what we gonna do? All get around and snatch our wigs off? What kind of event? And she sat down with us for 6 months. We met regularly, and she helped us develop a business plan so that now we have we had the first annual Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Beauty Bazaar in 2017.
Yeah.
I didn't have to be the only bald woman in the room. I could go shop with the vendors. I could look at the folks in the fashion show. I could see that somebody else was looking like me. We had sponsors that helped us to bring it. And then last year in 2021, I just remember when our very first mother and son duo came out and hit the stage. The son was 9 years old, and he was in his little suit. And he had patches. It didn't even matter. And him and his mama came out.
They were proud, honey. They were proud.
Tell them, Loretha.
They were proud. It was a beautiful moment for them. And it was for all of us. Absolutely. And for all of us.
It was just so beautiful. And I want to see more of that. You know, we'll talk to people and say, you need to come to the beauty bazaar. And they're like, well, I don't have alopecia. Okay, we ain't discriminating. Just because you got hair. Because you may know somebody out of these millions of people affected by this disease. And we want to educate you so then you know what to say to them.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You know why we got on these false eyelashes. You know why one of my eyebrows may look like Spot one day and something.
Right there. Or one might be gone.
Right, might be gone. I might rub it the wrong way or something.
Yes.
You know why I gotta put on some lipstick, and we want you to know why.
I love that you mentioned that.
Why we're fighting for legislation so our insurance company can pay for them sew-ins and wigs and them, you know, that's a grip right there. That's a contract.
That's a lot of money. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
It truly is. It truly is. So I know we probably have not answered half of the questions that people have. I know that people are going to see this, and when you do, please put replay in the comment section. And please do me a favor and put in the comments what city and state or what country you're watching us from, and how you found out about this. I know everybody's using the hashtag Oscar slap, but I'm using hashtag Oscar slap led to hashtag alopecia awareness.
Right.
I don't want to take
Yes,
anything away from
yes.
anybody else but this is a conversation that should not end
Absolutely.
today.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
absolutely.
That's got
It,
chills.
it
Yes,
cannot.
ma'am.
I know it cannot end today. It cannot end. Cannot end.
Nope.
So
It's just another jump starter. It's like going over a hurdle, you know what I mean, in a race. Once more, we're in this journey, and so that situation took place, and it shed another layer of light on it. And
Absolutely.
hopefully, when we're
Yes, it
using
did.
the word layer, we're getting down, we're pulling off layers, and we're starting to be truthful to ourselves as human
Amen.
beings. That no one is perfect. No one is
No
perfect.
one.
No
That's
matter
right.
how much money you have, you know what I mean. You're not immune from different things. So
yes,
life
yes.
is life.
None of us are immune. We've all suffered tragedies.
Exactly.
Yeah,
loss.
very sad tragedies.
But I do have to comment on Loretha. Loretha, I say to people, the party don't start till
But
Loretha shows up.
That's true.
But the very first time Loretha came to the Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Beauty Bazaar weekend retreat, you know, the retreat starts on a Thursday. We check in the hotel on the beach. We go do a photo shoot on the beach.
Yeah.
Barty has music on the beach, and then we do s'mores in the evening.
Yes.
Right.
And then the next day, we generally have workshops, you know,
Right.
something educational, something fun, but something just to take some of the topic off of just our shiny heads, you know, skin care, womb care. I'm hoping
We had
Womb
the
University comes.
Booms this year. Yeah.
Yep. We had Ruby Ribbon Apparel, how to lift up the girls and stuff. But
Yes.
during the s'mores on Thursday night, we had such a wonderful fellowship that Loretha said, I wish I had alopecia. Y'all having too much fun. And I love to share that because we want to continue to have fun and to learn from each other. And I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm grateful that God brought you all into my life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just going to MC the fashion show where Dr. Barb was a model. Lord, yes. Just knowing, Tam, that we're working together and to spread alopecia awareness in so many different platforms.
Yes.
We are definitely busy.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you, Lord.
That's because you have so much to say.
Absolutely. And you know what? Despite having this, you know, autoimmune disease, we're still businesswomen, you know what I mean? Businessmen, you know what I mean? We're still members of a congregation. And so hey, you could catch me at McDonald's. Like, I'm out here. I'm not stored away in the back of a wing of a house, you know what I mean? Because I have this going on. No, we're human beings. We're here and we're living life and we're living our bestest
Our best life. Best life.
Absolutely. You're so right.
Yep. Okay, so the final question I got on the phone tonight is it's a rough one. I don't even know how I would answer it. The National Alopecia Areata Foundation is working with the medical profession to find a cure for alopecia. So someone asked, if they found a cure, would you want your hair to grow back?
Wow.
And I don't know how to answer that. Dr. Barb, go ahead.
I'm good because I've been bald since I was 3.
Right.
So this has been my life for 50 plus years.
This is your life.
And I changed my diet because I have it's a gluten-free, a gluten intolerant tolerance that is another autoimmune thing.
Okay.
And so when I changed my diet and got off the weed and everything, y'all, my head, it grows all over my head now. I used to only have it here. I have a full head, a hairline, never had it in my life.
Really?
And so people say, why don't you just wait and see if it's going to grow back? I don't have time for that.
No,
I'm not trying to wait for this to grow.
We're not waiting on that. We're waiting on Jesus. That's it.
I'm about to shave this. Some people may want their hair, and I get that. I get that.
Right.
But I've been 50 plus years. I'm good. But I'd love to see other people that go, oh, Lord, I really want to work for you.
Absolutely.
I'm good.
Sam, you good? Or you going back to?
I mean, I've worked too hard to get where I'm at with the peace. I mean, the peace. You know,
all understanding.
I can't do it. And I love, you know what? Why do I want to fit in? I love being outside. I'm part of a selective. I'm like,
Yes,
we're
you are.
1%ers on our own. You know what
Yes.
I mean?
Come on and say that.
That in itself is a beautiful thing.
Exactly.
I don't want
And let me tell you one thing.
Like,
Let
no.
me tell you one thing, Dr. Barb. We, Angie B and I, of course, started out participating with an MSN podcast TV program. And then because Angie B is a producer, of course, she gets to select the guest, and she's very selective. So she selected Tamara. Well, the rest of the people on set didn't know who Tamara was. Tamara came in there with her 3-piece suit on. And when she and she just puts this makeup on. I don't know how she does it perfectly every time, but she does. But when she opened her mouth and started speaking, shut the door.
Yeah.
Shut the door.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I don't
we
know.
are-
I talk like I read some books.
But I know what they're thinking now. They're like, "Where's Tamara?"
He said, I talk like I read some books.
We are in that select, that select group.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There you go.
And that in itself is a testimony, because I came in there to do an interview, and then I ended up getting my own segment on the podcast.
Exactly. That's my whole.
You're
And
so
why
good,
wouldn't you
Lord.
want a bald business individual, right?
Hello.
This is what we are. We're out here.
I know that when I was trying to teach my niece, who is about to turn 10 this Saturday, she'll be 10 years old,
Saturday.
double digits.
Awesome age.
But years ago, I was trying to kind of, I thought I would scare her if I came out of my wig. So it was like a process, I'd pull it back a little bit and let her rub, and then, but I remember her asking me, well, Auntie, why don't you just, I know what it was. She came in and she saw me with shave cream on my head. She said, why don't you just let it grow like everybody else? And I had to explain to her that it may grow a little bit, but it hurts once it starts to, so my hair doesn't grow like yours. And I just don't know. And so when this question came across, I remember thinking, okay, if they cured the alopecia so that it wouldn't hurt anymore and it wouldn't have these problems and my hair would grow, what would I do? I wouldn't know what to do with it.
Right.
Me either.
Do we break out the straightening comb? Do we get a box of relaxer?
Absolutely
Do we make
not.
an appointment to get it braided? Do we get the bang action?
No.
I wouldn't know what to do with it. So I'm like Dr. Barb. I'm good. I'm good.
I've had the same bottle of shampoo for about a good 2 years. Come on. That in itself.
Because we only need a little dollop to wash our hair.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
God be the glory.
That is so funny. All right, Dr. Barb, I know you have another meeting coming up.
Yes, she
I'm anxious to read what you wrote. Dr. Barb is going to be featured in the Books and Besties audiobook coming up, and I'm excited about that. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're going to see you on June 12th, and I know Loretha, be sure to get that information for you. Tell that husband of yours that looked like John Legend that the Queen Bee said hello. That's going to be a whole different conversation. And
I would definitely do that.
All right. Thanks for being here, Dr. Barb.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. It has been my pleasure.
Now, Tam, I know that it would be horrific if we did not talk about Juneteenth. Can you share a little bit about Jamie Elmore's vision? Jamie with Bald Life magazine, and now did you go last year?
I missed out last year, and when she
year.
Went ahead and posted about it, I was like, oh, we're doing it. And so it's going to take place in Annapolis. It's going to be the weekend of June 17th through the 19th. And so folks will be flocking in pretty much on that Friday. There's going to be a white party. And then Saturday itself is going to be the Juneteenth parade, in which all of us bald individuals, right? We're not just saying men. We're not just saying women. We're saying bald individuals, grown, short, tall, black, white, whatever have you. We're going to be walking in a parade. And it's actually the Juneteenth parade for them there in that city, and we have our own little spotlight of a float in a sense, and folks are just going to be flocking in, and it's said to be a great time. I mean, the ladies that I've talked to last year, they rave about it, and they're all hyped about it as well. So there's hotels are going fast. I mean, for the most part, I've had my hotel reserved since November of last year. I believe we did the same thing as well. Angie, we're excited. Central Florida Alopecia Support Group. We are going to be in the building, out in the street, as you want to say, and we're going to be walking in our journey. And then also, mind you, keeping in mind that there's going to be individuals there that are there to support their loved ones that are bald. And so that in itself is an amazing thing. And I love the way Jamie has it outlined. And so those that are bald, they're going to be in one color, right? And have their bald boss going on with those shirts. And then those that are supporting, they're going to be in a different color. And they're going to have shirts that pretty much speak to them being supporters. And at the end of the day, it's all going to blend in. Why? Because it's all love.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's special.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. I appreciate Jamie Elmore, Bald Boss Magazine. She gives us a platform to be able to talk and ask questions, and she's got a YouTube page, and she really took the mantle when it was just kind of becoming popular to be bald.
Right.
We just all kind of blended in. She took the mantle to say, well, some of us are not here because we want to be here.
Right.
This is how we're dealing with it. So shout out to Jamie. I hope she got some rest tonight. And shout out again to our friends that were in town from Akron, Ohio, David and Marilyn Ruffin.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Barty and I went out to visit with them while they were here. And so the Oscars was Sunday night. I guess Monday morning we all go to breakfast, and my phone is blowing up, and we're at breakfast trying to fellowship, and I'm like rejecting and and so then last night we go to where are we at? International Drive. We go to hear some live entertainment. And my phone, and it's the Daytona newspaper wanting to do an interview. And I'm like, can I just eat these French fries and listen to this music? He's singing Purple Rain. Can I just? And so, Jamie, I feel you. The last 24 hours have been emotional, and we've all been triggered a little bit.
Yes.
However, I pray that through this evening's presentation, we were able to show a little bit of comfort to somebody. Encourage someone else.
Educated quite a few people tonight.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's a norm. It's and it's livable. You can live with this.
Yeah.
Okay. PSA. You know, it's all right. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to go slap someone. I said.
Yep. All right, ladies, I did not realize we would be here 90 minutes later, but thank you. Yeah, it's like 8:30. Thank you so much.
It is.
Someone messaged me and said, are you going to have this conversation again? And we'll see what saith the Lord, you know?
Yes. I think so. You have so many more women that have alopecia that are going to have something to say. So I think you should.
Yeah. I think we should. So we're going to look at the calendar and get together again, and hopefully have more good to say rather than cringing. Hopefully we will. Okay, ladies, Loretha, you got any final comments? You good?
Well, I just like everyone to know that every time I see a woman without hair, I always compliment her. I always compliment her. I always do, and I always have. And so now what I do is I invite her to join us at the Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Beauty Bazaar here in Daytona Beach, Florida, September 15th through 18th of 2022. It's just a wonderful opportunity to network and to learn more about alopecia. I don't have alopecia, but I have wonderful friends that do. And so now I know more about the immune the disease. It's actually a disease. All right.
It ain't a contagious disease.
No.
It's not
unless you relate it to me. It might come down in the blood somewhere, but it
is not
but
contagious. So
yeah.
yes. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much
Tam.
for the opportunity to be on board with this conversation.
Thanks so much, everybody. Angeline, I appreciate you. Yes, you want to participate in the next one, so we may have to do it on your day off, because I'm pretty sure my daughter has a couple of things that she may want to say.
Oh, I'm sure of that.
I think she might. Oh, Jordan's back. Let's see if we can put her in here. Jordan, do you have any final comments?
Hey, Jordan.
Got any final comments you want to add?
Final comments is thanks everybody for tuning in to us, and remember, alopecia awareness. If you know someone that may be affected with this, please reach out to me at the Central Florida Alopecia Group. And remember, knowledge is power, folks. If you don't know the answer to it, just ask somebody. There's plenty of us walking around here. Just ask. We're more than open and welcome and willing to educate you. So just reach out and touch. No, but don't touch these heads, but just reach out and just ask a question. We here to inform and educate, and also to empower one another.
Amen.
Thank you guys so much
right.
for listening.
Thank you.
Lord.
Thank you, Jordan, for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook. Search for Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Beauty Bazaar.
Yes.
And everybody, please visit boldbeautifulandbald.com, where you can get registered to join us all in September. Tam, I will see you in Annapolis in June.
Yes.
Jordan, I will see you at the next support group meeting. Loretha, I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, yes, you certainly will. Tomorrow and Thursday and Saturday.
Right.
Yes, Lord.
That's
yes,
4
Lord.
days in 1 week with the Queen
Thanks,
Bee.
everybody. I appreciate y'all. I couldn't have done this without you. Have a good one.
Night.